Thank you, Maki. Round of applause from me. And I hope everyone else is also applauding, even though you can't hear them. My name is Maurice, GMGM. I am the new content lead over here at Solflare. What we're going to do today is review Twitter growth best practices. But first, I think it's always helpful to qualify. In crypto, especially in a space that is so driven by anonymous users and people hiding behind. I wanted to kind of qualify a little bit and sort of share why you can trust me. Obviously, Solflare hired me and I'm a full-time member of the team, but before I joined Solflare, it took me a while to get here. And I love to also share, I have no degree. I didn't finish college. I came from other industries before going full-time crypto, and I want you all here to know that if you believe in yourself and you listen to others and you do what you believe is right and do the right thing even when it doesn't feel right, you will get ahead. And I think a big thing here is, pushing that positive mental attitude and that right energy. So let's jump into it. Why you should listen to me? I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been in the ecosystem since early 2021. I've been in Bitcoin since 2011. And in 2016 and 2017, I used the Ethereum ICO to get myself out of debt, to fix my credit score, and to be able to basically get a new lease on life. Since Q1 2021 in the Solana ecosystem, I've worked for a few different companies. I was a consultant. I was a advisor. You can see a few of those little logos in the upper left-hand corner. ISK, Pesky Penguin, Sniper, Torque Labs, Banks, Yont, a few others. Super Team Germany was one of my first accounts when I was a consultant. And then from January 2024 until March, April, May, June of this year, I ran Lulo. Lulo's marketing, BD, comms, growth. I took Lulo from $0 in deposits to over 134 million, and we did it all organically, and we did it purely based on grassroots efforts. I was also a Monkey DAO elected executive. During the IP buyout, I helped raise funds that currently now fund the DAO, and you could see my little honorary Gen 3 monkey there. So let's keep it moving. What is growth in Web3? What is it that I've been doing for the last few years, and what has gotten me to the point today where I can do a workshop with you guys on Twitter growth? So growth in Web3 is marketing, go-to-market strategies, it's branding, it's content creation, it's social media management, it's business development, it's communications, it's community building, like what we do here all the time, and so much more. But as you can see at the little bottom of the screen, today we're focusing on Twitter. So I just want to kind of give a little high level thing. What is marketing, right? Because what you guys are all trying to do here is market yourselves, market your content, market your work to either become creators or find jobs, or so be it. So marketing is like the promotion of a product or a concept or an idea. We're not going to dig too deep into this, but I'm happy to kind of jive with people later and talk about this. But marketing is about creating and delivering value to satisfy customer needs by understanding their desires, crafting suitable products or services, and effectively promoting them to build relationships and highlight the company's values. So what's your main distribution channel in crypto or Web3? I think it's pretty obvious to most of you, but hint, it starts and ends with X, formerly known as Twitter, right? So let's start with tips and tricks. My number one rule when it comes to Twitter, when it comes to just growth and branding and marketing in crypto in general, it's human-powered brand building. People respond better to people. People respond better to people than they do to a piece of marketing, like a visual or something to that nature. So what I would like to suggest everyone does is humanize your marketing, understand your user base. So what I mean by that is understand your audience. Who's looking at your content? Who's engaging with your content? Who are you trying to get to engage with your content? It's often about telling them what they want and not telling them what you think they need. meet people where they are, try to forget the jargon as much as possible, and speak to them in a language that they understand. So sometimes it is including jargon, it is including terms that are only common in crypto, but more often than not, the simpler you keep it, the easier it is for someone to comprehend. This is one of my favorite tidbits, and this is something I only really developed as a concept end of 2024, but it's called microwaved meals. If any of you are familiar with this meme, I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you though, or sorry that happened. This is all to say less is more, right? When we're producing content in crypto, we need to assume people are not reading everything. We need to assume people have short time attention spans. We need to assume people are moving around and doing a lot of things. I know we're all geniuses and we're all smart and we all read every single thing that comes across our desk, but the reality is a lot of people don't. So I would encourage everyone in here to, when you're producing copy, when you're producing content, boil it down. Can you say the same thing in less words? Can you get the same message across with less breath? This becomes especially useful as you scale your content, as you scale your efforts. And then the third tip or trick that I would love to communicate is experiment. Throw spaghetti on the wall. I don't always know what works, and I still experiment. The power of experimentation is you could be ahead of the curve. You can find a trend or create a trend before it even starts. I love this concept because it gives you the grace and the room to make mistakes. Mistakes are where we learn. Every lesson, every loss, or every failure is a lesson. It should always be something that we learn from. And every time you experiment, you could learn from that. So just want to hit these 3 points home really hard. Human-powered brand building, microwave your meals, and throw spaghetti on the wall. Don't hesitate to experiment. Now, let's take this one step further. You think you're good at Twitter? Let's get you to become great. Let's talk about Reply Guy, which is a big piece of Twitter growth. I think the number one thing that you can do to grow your account is replying to other people, getting into conversations, and following these rules, which I think these are the golden rules of being a reply guy in crypto or being a reply guy in general. You want to add value, be comedic, be educational, share information, or inspire others. What I do not want you to do is be controversial. Now, when I say that, it can be, you can take situations case by case. You know, there's one thing about being controversial in a fun way, and there's another way of being controversial that just gets people upset. You'll notice on the timeline, the content that gets the most results, the content that gets the most likes, the most comments, the most engagement, it's either fun, comedic, makes you laugh, or it's controversial. You don't agree with it. It makes people mad. I think what we should be supporting as a community for Guardians G4G is this positive value add, the positive way to get attention. So the next thing I would say is be intentional, reduce repetition. This is specifically important for a lot of the people in the crowd today. Since I've joined Solflare and I've seen our notifications and I've seen our engagement, I notice a lot of our guardians and a lot of our ambassadors will copy and paste our images and then make posts using those images, and they get no engagement, they get no likes, they get no love essentially. And what I would love to kind of encourage you to do is, if you want to copy and paste and try to utilize stuff that we're producing, go customize it, tweak it, make it your own. Don't just copy and paste images from our account or others, expecting that to get you results. Most likely will not. So I already said that at the bottom, customize your memes and GIFs when possible. But I think maybe the number one thing to hit home is getting your replies in early on big accounts, aka targeting big accounts. This is how you are going to get the most attention on your Twitter account in the fastest way possible. And if you are able to target those big accounts with replies early, and you are intentional and you make them laugh, or you share some insight, or you do something inspirational, they're likely to engage. It's going to get some good engagement, and then you start to see your account grow. So how can you make these changes? I would suggest everyone uses X Pro, formerly known as TweetDeck. Lists, searches, columns, bookmarks, notifications, and more. And then custom-made GIFs, you could use image flip, GIF, and meme libraries. And then something you all excel at is put love and attention into the work that you're doing. We are going to review targeting. I see best strategy for targeting in the comments. We're going to talk about that in a second. Yeah, why don't we talk about that right now? So Twitter Pro, if you have any of the Twitter subscriptions, whether it's the lowest level or up, or if you are an ambassador or an affiliate for another company, you have the ability to access Twitter Pro. With Twitter Pro, what you can do is create these columns, as you could see, and it should be showing. Yeah, so this is my personal TweetDeck. I've been setting this up for years, and you can see, look, Vidor just got 3. He has his Seeker and 2 Sagas. But what the TweetDeck does is reorganizes your timeline for specific categories and for time. So as you can see here, under radar, Wizard of Soho just tweeted 19 seconds ago. Now, if I was scrolling Twitter on the regular, x.com, and I went home, look, Sora, who's in the crowd, tweeted, and it was the first thing I saw. Vidor is the first thing I see, an hour old, 23 minutes old, 16 minutes old, 30 minutes old. We're not seeing the most, an hour old, 3 hours old. We're not seeing the most recent content. With X Pro, you get to see exactly what is coming out when it comes out. And obviously this also depends on your columns and the columns you set up. But you can see under radar, Wizard of Soho a minute ago, and Decrypt 29 seconds. So Decrypt, publicly traded firms are now stacking ETH, pulling in billions of dollars on ETH. These are the largest holders. Maybe a good reply here to get in early would be, can't wait to see what DATs do with Sol. Bang. I'm the first reply on that post. Decrypt has 232,000 followers. Maybe my post will get some attention. This is what I mean by targeting. This is what I mean by being early in the replies. And this is why I leverage TweetDeck. What is a good reply? I see in the comments. A good reply can range. It's very hard to say what is or isn't a good reply. But what I would always suggest is a good reply will fall into this category. Is it comedic? Is it informational? Is it educational? Or does it inspire? If it does any of those things, it can be considered a good reply. And what I would also say is not all of your replies, not all of your content is always going to get the attention you want it to get. I have made what I consider banger posts, and they get no engagement. I've then made posts that I kind of did without even thinking, and they went viral. Let's take a quick look at what that might mean for someone. So I just want to show you real quick. Someone mentioned aura farming earlier, so I want to give you a little aura farming. Here I am aura farming. I love this tweet. I thought this was going to do numbers. It did not. But this one did. 4.2k views, 146 likes. There I am aura farming. I love this. And then this one, when I left Lulo, got 10k views. Personal update. It's personal. It's human. It's me being honest with my viewers and with my community, right? So let's go back to X Pro. I have my home here. which is going to show you, basically just like your home in the normal app, but then it's the columns that really make a huge difference. So Radar for me is, I created these lists, and Radar for me is a really wide range of things. But then I have other columns that are way more boiled down and niche. So for instance, DeFi on Solana, Radium. So the other really cool thing about using X Pro is not only will you see the latest timeline tweets, but you will also see the latest replies from accounts that you put into those lists. If you don't know how to create a list, let me show you really quick. So these are my lists. They are private. I'm not sharing them with you. Sorry, not sorry. You can create your own lists, and your lists might be better than mine. But what you could do with lists is you could build them out inside of the list function. So like manage members, I could add people or go to suggested and search for people. The other way you could do this as well is by KRTV. If I want him on a list, I could go to his profile, hamburger menu, and add or remove from list. In my opinion, he should be on my notables list. My notables list is KOLs, it's influencers that I respect, it's founders, it's people that I want to keep track of what they're doing. Witty, I see you ask, can X Pro be accessed on mobile? Unfortunately not. Since Elon joined the Twitterverse and took over, you can no longer access X Pro on mobile, but I'm sure in the near future there should be some solutions. So let's go back to X Pro and show you guys a little bit more. So I have wallets and fintechs, I have notables, I have CT marketers. So I use this to see how other marketers in crypto Twitter are doing their content. I have Solana news, so I get the latest breaking news, and I have personal follow-up. So this is bookmarks, right? You could also have columns that are bookmarks. You could have columns that are notifications. I even have a Grok. Hey Grok. I even have a Grok column. What's trending on X today? So this could be another tool that you use in your profile to figure out ways to get into good conversations. Oh, and look at that. I could even see Sunday tagging me and telling me how great it is that I'm spilling alpha. So in real time, we're getting to see the power of X Pro, which is really, really cool. Thank you, Sunday. I appreciate the kind words. All right. Grok gave us a little insight. Ariana Grande is trending. National Dog Day. SpaceX, Starship, Taylor Swift, Vanity Fair, Newsom's Trump mockery. So as burgeoning content creators, as people who are trying to get engagement, trying to grow their accounts, this is a great strategy to create evergreen content that is not just copy paste, that is not just seeing what other people are doing, but can be a little more original, a little more unique to yourself. So I know for me and the Solflare team, I'm not going to give all the special sauce away, but we do look at trends and we do check and see what's trending and how we can get involved in the conversation. Yesterday, we did something with Mert where we just, had some fun. And for every 69 likes a tweet got, we put hair on Mert's head. And it ended up getting a lot of engagement. It was super duper fun. People really loved it. And it was not, it wasn't the run-of-the-mill content that you see from different projects. So here's Mert growing his hair. And by the end, I started adding accessories like the glasses. I gave him his Zins because we know he loves Zins. And then eventually he got a Seeker popping out of his pocket. This is not high-level image development. This is not high-end photoshopping. This was all done in preview with very basic tools. And why I say that is because you can do this too. So let's go back to X Pro. So these are the columns that I have cooking right now. This is how I view Twitter. This is how I go through Twitter. And here we go. Dip Wheeler, shorts will send up to $10 2 minutes ago. Whale.mocha 2 minutes ago. Mert 2 minutes ago. So this is how you find those big accounts posting very, very quickly. Let's go back to the presentation and we can come back to this in a little bit. Look, there's Quick's last flight of the journey to New York City 4 minutes ago. Hey brother, we're wishing you safe travels from the workshop. And now we are among the top replies, right? And whether that's a good reply or not, that's up to you to judge. For me, in this situation, I think it's a good reply. And Quicks gets that sweet engagement. Exactly. So those are your golden rules. These are a little bit of what I just discussed. Lists, searches, columns, bookmarks. So I showed you lists. Let's show you searches real quick. So I don't know if I have one. There we go. So this is a search, which is like, what's the best Solana wallet, right? It's not a really great search because I'm not getting a lot of results, but this is a good search. So X stocks and Solana. I'll show you guys in a little bit how to set up search queries, but this is a good one. So this is X stocks and Solana. It will filter out spam and it shows me the latest thing. So as we can see, the top results are going to show you based on the engagement, and then the latest is going to show you based on timeline, right? What was the most recent? So this is not a hot topic apparently at the moment. The latest post was from Power Trade 3 hours ago. So let's go back to the presentation. So I've shown you guys this basically. I'm gonna let some questions come through the chat in a little bit, but I'll share all of this after the fact, and we're gonna post this on YouTube so you'll be able to see a bunch of this stuff. So what are the next steps so you could really lever up your content? Start using X Pro. Be the first in comments on big accounts. Can you be the first on Solflare posts? If you don't have access to X Pro, what can you do? Set notifications for big accounts, set up your own list, set up your own bookmarks, and you can still leverage a lot of these tips and tricks and tools even if you don't have X Pro. As I was just saying, make and improve your lists. Make KOL lists, make project lists, make partner and friend lists. Targets, are there any one or group that you want to get attention from? I think a lot of people in the chat right now want to get attention from Solflare. And the best way that you can get attention from Solflare, the best way you can get us to comment, like, retweet, quote tweet your stuff is by being human and being or original or organic or unique or just being you. Don't ask for engagement, earn the engagement, I think is a little bit of what Quicks was just saying there in the chat. Create custom searches, check daily trends to jump on like I just showed you with Grok. It's a great, easy way to find out what's trending today. And it gets you out of crypto Twitter alone, right? Which I think is pretty powerful. So here's a little bit of an example of branded memes and GIFs. So we've just started to implement this at Solflare. You will notice more and more of these coming out on the timeline in replies. You will also see some more memes and GIFs coming out on our native timeline, on our native posts. And in the very near future, once we have a big enough library, I'm actually gonna let you all access this. I'm gonna let everybody in the Solflare community get access to these custom memes, these custom GIFs, these custom concepts that we've created, and it will be available in what I'm calling the Reply Guy Gal library. For now, it's not accessible. I'm sorry, but soon I will make it accessible. But what I would encourage you to do is Try to make your own custom gifs. Try to make your own custom memes. It will elevate your content. It will elevate the way people engage with you 10x. So improving reply guy content. We're repeating ourselves a little bit, but let's just, let's do it anyway. Add value. What is value in my opinion, and what is value for you guys? Comedy, education, information, and I would add inspiration there. I missed adding it. Develop your own voice. Who are you? Make you come out through your content. Have your own voice, your own tone. I know it says utilize Solflare branding, logos, colorways, motifs. That's because I had this presentation partially for Solflare team members, but you can use Solflare branded stuff if you're trying to promote Solflare and get our name out. But I would convert that to utilize your personal branding. Use your own tagline. Use stuff that you consider your own. Be topical, right? Be present in conversations that are happening right now, and that plays back into the trends. Be intentional. What does that mean? Be intentional is kind of playing into that fifth point, which is try to avoid basic GMs, copying and pasting images produced by other accounts without editing them. When you are not intentional and when you are spammy, it doesn't go unnoticed. People see it, the algorithm sees it, and you will not get the results that you want. So be intentional with how you communicate, be intentional with how you respond and reply to different accounts, and you will see a major shift in the way that your account grows in time. That's basically it. As you can see, I really love leveraging memes, GIFs. It's super popular in crypto. It's really part of the culture. And I'd love to say thank you. And I am more than happy to answer some questions that you guys post into the roundtable chat. And I can also go back into TweetDeck, into the presentation, and double click on things.